Ship 36 exploded weeks ago. The test mount was destroyed. Everyone predicted SpaceX would wait months for repairs. They were wrong. SpaceX just moved Ship 37's transport stand to the launch pad. Not for storage, for static fire testing. They're planning to use it as an adapter on top of the orbital launch mount. Has this ever been done before? Is it risky? Absolutely. Could it work? That's exactly what we're about to find out. While other companies play it safe, SpaceX is rewriting the rules to keep Block 3 on schedule. Will this crazy plan actually work, or will it end in disaster? Let's dive right in. Here's what really happened during Ship 36 explosion, and why it changed everything. When that Starship prototype detonated during static fire testing, it wasn't just any ordinary test failure. The blast didn't just destroy the vehicle, it obliterated the entire test infrastructure, the masses. That's what SpaceX calls their mobile test stands. These million-dollar machines, completely wiped out, gone. Think of them as massive mechanical arms, holding a 50-meter-tall rocket steady while 33 Raptor engines ignite beneath it. Each one takes months to build. You can't just order replacements from a catalog. Most industry experts predicted SpaceX would be grounded for at least 6 months, maybe even until 2026. Why were they so confident? Because in traditional aerospace, you don't just improvise with rocket testing. You follow protocols, you rebuild, you wait. SpaceX had other plans. But first, let's talk about what's really at stake here. Block 3 Starship isn't just another prototype. It represents the next evolutionary leap in SpaceX's design. More efficient, more powerful, more reliable. But Block 3 has a deadline that can't be moved. NASA's Artemis program depends on Starship. Commercial contracts are waiting. Most critically, SpaceX's entire Mars colonization timeline hinges on Block 3 development staying on track. Every month of delay, it cascades into years of setbacks. So when Ship 36 exploded and took out the testing infrastructure, SpaceX faced an impossible choice. Wait for traditional repairs and watch their entire timeline collapse, or find another way. The transport stand sitting in their production facility suddenly looked very different. What if this wasn't just for moving rockets? What if it could become part of the testing process itself? That's when the crazy idea was born. Picture this scenario. You're trying to test a 50-story building, but your testing platform just got destroyed. Most engineers would give up. SpaceX engineers saw an opportunity. The ship transport stand weighs over 100 tons. It's designed to carry fully fueled starships across Starbase. But could it handle something completely different? Could it handle the massive forces generated during a static fire test? Could it act as an adapter between Ship 37 and the orbital launch mount? Here's where the physics gets fascinating. During a static fire, Ship 37 will generate over 7 million pounds of thrust. That's like trying to hold down a controlled explosion. The transport stand wasn't designed for this. But SpaceX engineers discovered something unexpected in their structural analysis. The orbital launch mount at Pad 1 has connection points that could theoretically interface with the transport stand. It's like trying to plug a USB-C cable into a lightning port. It shouldn't work, but with the right adapter, the question became, would the adapter hold? And more importantly, would SpaceX actually be crazy enough to try it? While everyone was watching Starbase construction, something else was happening at Pad 1. Subtle modifications, small changes that didn't make headlines, but changes that could change everything. Recent aerial photography reveals new mounting brackets, fresh welding marks, updated connection interfaces. These aren't random improvements. They're preparing for something that's never been attempted. The orbital launch mount, normally used for fully stacked starships ready for orbital flights, is being modified to accept the transport stand configuration. Think of it as emergency surgery on a launch pad. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. The transport stand modification isn't just about Ship 37. It's about proving a concept that could revolutionize how SpaceX tests rockets. And if it works, the entire aerospace industry is about to get disrupted. Traditional rocket companies build dedicated test stands for each vehicle type. SpaceX is about to prove you can turn transportation equipment into testing infrastructure in weeks, not months. What does this mean for the industry? If this works, SpaceX just demonstrated the ultimate in operational flexibility. No more waiting for perfect conditions. No more being grounded by single points of failure. The implications go far beyond Ship 37. What happens when they're testing on Mars and something breaks? You can't ship replacement parts from Earth. You adapt. You improvise. You make it work. This isn't just about one static fire test. This is about proving a philosophy. But there's a darker side to this story. Ship 37 sitting on a transport stand, conducting a static fire test on an orbital launch mount. What could go wrong? The engineering tolerances are razor thin. One miscalculation in the adapter interface, and Ship 37 could shift during ignition. That's not just a test failure. That's a potential catastrophe that could damage Pad 1's orbital launch mount. And Pad 1 isn't just any launch pad. It's SpaceX's primary orbital testing facility. Damage it, and you've just set back Starship development by years, not months. The structural dynamics are completely unproven. How will the transport stand behave under the massive vibrations of 33 Raptor engines? Computer simulations can only tell you so much. Real-world physics has a way of surprising even the best engineers. Yet SpaceX is moving forward anyway. Why would they take such a massive risk? While SpaceX races to static fire Ship 37, NASA is canceling missions left and right. The OSIRIS-APEX mission, humanity's only chance to study the asteroid Apophis up close in 2029, just got axed due to budget cuts. NASA's planetary science budget is facing a 50% reduction. Over 40 planned missions eliminated. Meanwhile, China is preparing their own Apophis mission. In April 2029, when this massive asteroid passes just 30,600 kilometers from Earth, closer than our communication satellites, China might be the only ones there to witness it. This is the context SpaceX is operating in. While government space agencies cut budgets and cancel missions, private companies are pushing boundaries and taking risks. Ship 37's unconventional test isn't just about maintaining schedules. It's about proving that innovation doesn't wait for perfect conditions. The transport stand modification reveals something remarkable about SpaceX's engineering philosophy. They're not just building rockets. They're building adaptable systems. Every piece of Starbase infrastructure is designed with multiple purposes. The transport stand that moves rockets can become a test adapter. The launch tower that stacks vehicles can service multiple pad configurations. It's engineering efficiency at its finest. But here's what makes this truly groundbreaking. Traditional aerospace companies would spend months in committee meetings debating this approach. SpaceX moved the transport stand to the launch site and started modifications immediately. The speed of execution is what separates SpaceX from everyone else. While other companies analyze risk, SpaceX manages it through rapid iteration. But will this rapid iteration approach work when the stakes are this high? If Ship 37's static fire succeeds using the transport stand adapter, SpaceX just proved they can maintain Block 3 development pace despite major setbacks. More importantly, they've demonstrated a level of operational flexibility that no other aerospace company possesses. Success means Block 3 stays on timeline. Artemis stays viable. Mars colonization plans remain intact. But if it fails, if the adapter can't handle the forces, if Ship 37 shifts during ignition, if the entire configuration proves unstable, the consequences ripple far beyond a single test. Pad 1 damage could ground orbital starships for months. Block 3 development would face major delays, and SpaceX's reputation for engineering ingenuity would take a serious hit. The entire industry is watching this test. Every aerospace company is paying attention to this test, not just for the technical achievement, but for what it represents about the future of space development. If SpaceX succeeds, they've just demonstrated that rapid adaptation beats careful planning. That improvisation can outperform traditional engineering approaches. That's a philosophy shift that could reshape the entire industry. Rocket Lab, Blue Origin, even NASA. They're all watching to see if SpaceX's unconventional approach actually works. Because if it does, The old rules of rocket development just got rewritten. There's another factor driving this decision that most people don't realize. Starbase construction is accelerating across multiple projects simultaneously. The Florida Gigafactory is weeks ahead of the Texas facility. New launch towers are being assembled. Tank farms are expanding. Every delay in Ship 37 testing creates bottlenecks across the entire Starship program. It's not just about one rocket. It's about maintaining momentum across a dozen interconnected projects. The transport stand solution isn't just clever engineering. It's program management at the highest level. Keep the development pipeline flowing, no matter what obstacles appear. But will the physics cooperate with the ambitious timeline? That's the million-dollar question, and we're about to find out the answer. So here we are. SpaceX is about to attempt something that breaks every rule in the aerospace playbook. Ship 37, sitting on a transport stand, ready for static fire on an orbital launch mount. This has never been done before, but that's exactly what makes SpaceX. SpaceX. While others play it safe, they're rewriting the rules. While NASA cuts budgets, they're pushing boundaries. While the industry analyzes risk, they're managing it through pure innovation. This isn't just about one static fire test. This is about the future of space exploration. If this works, we're witnessing the birth of a new engineering philosophy. If it fails, we're seeing the limits of rapid innovation. Either way, we're watching history unfold. The next few weeks will tell us whether SpaceX's crazy plan is brilliant or reckless, whether their transport stand adapter will hold or catastrophically fail. But here's what I think really matters. We're living through the most exciting era of space exploration in human history. Every week brings new breakthroughs, new challenges, new impossibilities becoming possible. What do you think? Is SpaceX's approach the future of aerospace, or are they taking risks that could set back space exploration for years? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more space stories that matter, because the next chapter of humanity's journey to the stars is being written right now. NASA just spent $2 billion and their rocket exploded anyway. Here's what happened. During a crucial test, NASA's SLS booster erupted in flames. Debris everywhere. Complete failure. But Elon Musk, he's been warning about this exact problem for years. While NASA burns through taxpayer money, SpaceX is doing something incredible. They're testing Starship directly on the launch pad, something never attempted before. The cost difference? NASA, $2 billion per launch. SpaceX, $100 million. So why does NASA keep failing while SpaceX keeps winning? Musk just revealed the brutal truth, and it changes everything. Let's dive right in. Musk's prediction just came true in the most devastating way possible. June 26 started like any other test day at NASA. Engineers gathered around monitors, cameras locked onto the massive solid rocket booster. Everything looked perfect for exactly 2 minutes. Then the nightmare began. The stable white plume suddenly turned violent. Debris exploded outward. The entire back section of NASA's most advanced booster literally disintegrated on live television. But this wasn't just another test failure. This was NASA's last desperate attempt to save a dying program. You see, behind those closed doors in Washington, the SLS program had already been marked for execution. The White House Budget Office wanted it terminated after Artemis 3. This test? It was supposed to prove SLS deserved to live. Instead, it became NASA's public execution. Here's the number that should make every taxpayer furious. NASA has already burned through $23.8 billion developing SLS. That's not a typo. $23.8 billion. What do we have to show for it? A rocket that explodes during ground testing. Compare that to SpaceX. Their entire Starship development program costs less than 2 SLS launches. And while NASA's rocket can't even survive a stationary test, Starship has already completed multiple orbital flights. But the financial horror story gets worse. Each SLS launch cost $2 billion. The rocket itself, $876 million. Ground operations, another $414 million. Mission support, $300 million more. All of this for a single-use rocket that gets destroyed after every flight. Meanwhile, SpaceX launches Starship for $100 million and lands it safely for immediate reuse. The math is brutal. NASA spends 20 times more money to deliver inferior performance. While NASA was cleaning up debris from their explosion, something extraordinary was happening 1,200 miles away in Texas. SpaceX announced they would attempt something never done before, testing Starship directly on the launch pad itself. This sounds simple. It's actually insane. The orbital launch mount was designed to hold a fully stacked vehicle weighing 5,000 tons.